at the Kenai Community Library. I know the pandemic's still going on and we started this project last summer of 2020, but I'm finally going to start finishing it. And we're going to walk you through it. So you'll probably get 3 or 4 little mini videos showing our steps on how to finish our community quilt. So what I have here today is all of our quilt blocks. And we decided, because we had some extra leftover jeans, that we're just going to upcycle these and put them in between as a border between all of our blocks. Because not all of our blocks kind of have colors that match. So this way each person's block has its own border that you're going to be able to see just a little bit better. So one of the first processes that you start with after you have created all of your blocks is to do what you call squaring them up, which means you stick them on your cutting board, and we decided that we kind of wanted 9.5 by 9.5 blocks. And so what we actually have to do is see how, and this one actually looks like it might be about a 9 by 9. And that's fine. That's totally fine. So we're going to try to line it up as best as possible. And then we're going to take our ruler and we're going to line it up on our 9 line. Take our rotary cutter and we're just going to square this up and take off these little bits right here. As you can see, you kind of got to push hard sometimes when you get to those cute little corners. And always feel free to get up and move around. So there's one block. Now we've got all our other ones left to do. So while we were cutting, we found a couple things out. One, we actually did blocks not 9.5 inches, but 9 inches big, which is fine. Totally cool. The other thing we found is that during storage, some of them need to get repressed, which totally happens, and some of them don't quite make 9 inches. So what we might do is we might make these, say, like 8.5 inches. And that's totally fine, because what we can do is we can put them all in their own row and then just make our seams around them and our framing fabric a little bit larger. And this happens all the time. Don't worry about it. Have fun with your quilting. Quilting is supposed to be fun, and the only person that's going to know about any mistakes is you, the sewer, and not anybody else. They're going to go, oh my gosh, somebody spent untold hours to make me a beautiful quilt. So we've got our iron going, and what you're going to see is I'm going to probably cut these blocks into some smaller 8.5 inches. Then we're going to press these blocks and cut them down as well. So happy sewing. So just a quick little thing you'll notice with this last block, it's a little bit bigger than the rest, but it looks like somebody did put a signature on the corner. So what we're trying to do is square it so we can continue to get the signature on it. It means it might look a little funny, because as you can see, we're going to have to potentially cut off a lot of this one side, but we keep this really cool embroidered signature mark, because it does look like somebody hand stitched it, which is really, really cool. So this will be our last block for cutting. So now that we have our 9-inch blocks, our 8-inch blocks, and our 8.5-inch blocks, the next thing to do is to lay them out and to see how we want them put together. Okay, so what we just did was we found some old jeans, and we're going to use this as kind of trim in between all the blocks. And we decided that, well, Bethany and I decided, because we're kind of the sewers, that we're going to do a 2.5-inch, let's see here. We're going to do a 2.5-inch strip, which is going to be about like that. Okay, and then what will happen is that'll come down to about 2 inches, and that'll be probably just enough. So if at our 9-inch here is where it starts, 9 to 7, 7.5. So there's our 2.5-inch strip. And then what will happen is that'll go down to about 2 inches here in between each of the blocks, and we might do a little bit larger border around the outside, and I'm thinking that that's going to be pretty nice. So what we're going to do is, now that we've pressed out all of our cut jean material, we're going to start making our 2.5-inch strips. So what Miss Bethany and I decided was that it's going to take about 15 of these in order to go around the blocks kind of in between. So we're going to lay these out and show you kind of what it's going to look like. And I think for today we might be done.